All right, this video is going to go over security standard item number 14, the user password aging settings. So log into my system. So when you create a user, it gets some password aging settings, and those settings control certain things. Max age is how old the password can be, so it will stop working after that amount of time expires. Min age is how young a password can be, so essentially you don't want people to change their password and then change it right back to their other old password they used to have, so that forces people to keep the password for 7 days before they can change it again. Min length is a system setting we're going to make sure the password is at least 8 characters long. And then warning time is how long it's going to take, how many days it's going to let the user know their password's going to expire. So it'll tell you for 7 days your password is going to expire, so that way you can change it before it expires. So if we use the change command and specify a username, it tells us what settings the user has. In this case, my user doesn't have correct settings for most things. For number of warn days, it has 7, but it doesn't have the min age and it doesn't have the max age. So you can interactively change these settings using the change command. It's going to ask you some questions. Um, Minimum password age, we want to change that to 7. If we wanted to leave it 0, we can just hit enter. Maximum password age, we say 90 for that, right? 90 days. Yep. 90 days. And we won't change that. We won't change that. We won't change that. We won't change that. So we basically set the minimum age and the maximum age using that command. And if we verify that, we can see that those settings were changed. So that's cool. We did that for that one user. If we want to know where those settings are stored on the system, they're stored in Etsy Shadow. So if we go look at my sec team user, not my sec team user, my RBE00 team user, I now have 797, and my sec team user still has the default uh, bad settings. So theoretically, if you're super skilled in file editing, you could just edit these settings in a shadow file, but if you mess that up by accidentally deleting a colon, that's not good. So that's not really a recommended way to make those changes. Chage is the way to make it. And if we look at the man page for Chage, we could set some of these things in non-interactive way too. If we want to set min and max days, little m is for min days and big M is for max days. So we could probably do something like Chage dash M7 dash big M 90, and then I'll do that to my admin2 user, not Chage. And now if I look at my admin2 user, geez, look at my admin2 user, now we see my admin2 user has the proper settings. So that's how we can change the settings for existing users. We just did some user management in a previous video, and I added a user, admin2, right? Admin2 got the settings of 09999. So we want new users to get the appropriate settings when they're created. So in order to do that, we're going to edit a file that controls what settings the user gets. And that file is called login.defs. Etsy login.defs. Basically, we want to go in this file and find those settings we want to change and change it here. So we change max days to 90, min days to 7, and we also want to have a min length setting, which we currently do not have. So we're going to create that file, and we want the min length to be 8 characters. So those are the changes we need to make to login.defs. And now if I add a user, admin4, now if we add a user, the admin4 user, we see the user gets the correct settings. So to be compliant with our system, to be compliant with number 14, we need to do two things. One, we need to make sure we change the login.defs, right? I just changed that. So we need to change the login.defs so that the new users get the correct settings. And then we need to change all the existing users so they have the correct settings. What do I mean by change the existing users? Well, any regular user account, which means not a system account, needs those settings. So we're not going to change root. You don't want root to expire. So we're not going to change root. We're not going to change any of these, but your user needs to have it, and any other users need to have it, including the sec team. And any users we add. So right now, admin3 does not have the correct settings. So I would need to fix admin3 to be fully compliant with the standards. So you're going to add some users this module. If you want to save yourself some work, you will change login.defs before you add the users. If you did not change login.defs, then you're going to have to change them all independently, and you can do it like this. So I had my admin3, didn't have the correct settings. So now if I look, my admin3 has the correct settings. So that's what you need to do for this module for security standard item number 14.